Hi, I'm Davey from MK Dub. I'm actually trying to move most of my records out of here, right? I'm trying to kind of pare down my record collection. But, you know, maybe once a vinyl junkie, always a vinyl junkie. So I still buy records from time to time. I thought it'd be interesting to share, at least connect with you all to see, you know, what else people are buying out there. This is what I'm buying. And, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments what you think and what you've been up to. First up is a stone cold classic, right? We have Aphex Twin. I mean, come on, right? Selected ambient works, 85 to 92. Sometimes people call it SAW 1, SAW 1, or SAW 85 to 92. There's also a SAW 2, right? Which is actually ambient. This one's actually not ambient. It's really weird. It's a kind of a primitive techno record, I guess. But, you know, it seems to be the consensus is that if you're only going to own one Aphex Twin album, this is the one to own. I do only own one Aphex Twin album, and this is the one I own. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's just kind of one of those classics. It starts off with Xtal and Tha, and between those two, like, I was hooked. I am trying to get rid of my records, but I do want to keep a small collection of classics and of maybe other records that are meaningful to me, and this is definitely on that list. This is the reissue of Hella, Hold Your Horses. I don't know how well known Hella is, but it's a two-piece, a duo comprised of Spencer Syme on guitar and Zach Hill on drums. And Zach is pretty well known these days as 1/3 of Death Grips. You know, he's done some work too with Primus and some other big name acts, Team Sleep, I think. But I think most folks nowadays, if they are, you know, into Zach's music, they, you know, a lot of them came through Death Grips. Death Grips is an amazing band. I saw them live in a living room in Davis, and it just blew me away. Ex-military, even with the power of that band, I don't think there's anything that's ever going to, you know, top the nostalgia factor for me than this record here, Hella, Hold Your Horses. It's when I first saw his drums. And this record, you know, it's just so melodic for being kind of this mathy, technical rock music. It's just, I can still hear the melodies in my head now. And so when I saw there was a reissue, I wouldn't want to pay $100, $200 for it, but there's a reissue, so I kind of had to jump on it because this one's just pure nostalgia for me. A couple of videos ago, I just, you know, sometimes I just have to kind of decorate a little bit so that way it doesn't look like I'm just shooting in my bedroom or whatever. And somebody happened to notice that I had a Susumu Yokota record, you know, Sakuraba, Sakura, right? Just kind of as background, just to kind of make the scenery look nice. And it kind of reminded me, oh, you know, I really love some of that guy's stuff. And so I wanted to spotlight some of it now. And it actually helped me kind of dig in even further than I had back then. So, you know, Sakura is an awesome ambient record. It is true ambient. I don't think there are any beats in that record. If there are, they're very minimal and not very often. You know, most of the tracks are beatless. And it's just an amazing ambient record. But Yokota-san's output is kind of like Aphex Twin, but maybe even more diverse than Aphex Twins, right? So he's just all over the place, right? Between true ambient music, not SAW 1, SAW 85, 92 ambient, but like true ambient, and, you know, multiple albums of ambient music, multiple albums of just straight acid or house or whatever. There's even some kind of classical leaning records in there. And so, you know, his output is really, I can't say that I love it all, but I find almost all of it really interesting and really can learn some things. Maybe I should check out some of his stuff again and really dug into some things that I hadn't even heard before, right? So spotlight a couple of those. First one here, Acid Mount Fuji, you know, just recently reissued on triple vinyl. Again, another one of those very, very different from Sakura, but very, very worthwhile. But this is not really the one I want to talk about, right? So this here, this is it's another moniker of his called Ebi, which I think is Japanese for shrimp. And this one I wasn't really even aware of actually until just recently after posting the other video. I was kind of doing some searching and saw that he had produced a record called Ebbe, and I checked out the first track, and it was hooked. It blew me away. It's kind of more acid house techno music, and that's usually kind of not my wheelhouse, so to speak, but it was so catchy, and it just really caught my ear. And so I went ahead and grabbed this double collection. It's kind of like a compilation or a selection of his 2 Ebbe albums, so you don't even get the full effect. And I have to say, I downloaded the second album, I think, which is called, I want to say it's called 10. One is called Zen and the other one's called 10, and they rhyme and they're too close, and I can't remember which one is which. But the second one, which is a little bit more maybe down tempo, maybe a little bit more ambient or more relaxed, really strikes a chord within me and resonates. Whilst the first one does the same, but in a much more kind of bouncy and melodic manner. And so yeah, I just really want, if you're into that type of music, check this out, and let me know what you think.